Hi guys, Paul the UK Reefer here, just about to start a new build of a Red Sea Reefer 250 version 3 in white, waiting for the big item to be delivered. But yeah, really excited to start this new tank. I'm basically going to be creating an SPS dominated ultra low nutrition tank using the best equipment I can find for the money and some experience in the past and from watching loads of videos on YouTube like this. Got a few of the bits of equipment already in front of me, and basically in this first episode I'm just going to run through what I'm going to be trying to create, some of the things that I'm going to be utilising and the reasons behind it. And yeah, basically hoping that all of you will join me, comment, advise, ask questions, and we'll learn from each other, which is pretty much what this hobby is about. Bit of history: I started with a goldfish tank like most people do about 5 years ago when my son was born. It was like a bi-orb tank, 25 litre, and I stumbled across the nitrogen cycle with some ceramic media that came with it and was absolutely fascinated at how it had gone from a hugely poisonous environment into absolutely fine with a piece of rock. So from that moment on, I then started researching, and as my wife would call it, geeking out, and decided to completely skip the tropical phase and go dive headfirst into marine fish keeping, just due to the fact that I loved the colours of the fish and the corals. Wow, that was a long time ago with so much learnt. I took a tank from my mother, which was a 46 litre fluval edge, and decided the hard way to start a nano tank with a tank that wasn't designed to be a nano tank, marine tank. That worked really well, and I had a couple of clowns, a couple of corals, frags and zoas that worked really well, but 46 litres was never going to be enough for longer than 6 months, because after that I was wanting to create the biggest possible tank I could, like you do when you go into this hobby. I then moved on to an Aqua Reef 400 tank, which is about 400 litres as per the name. I had quite a heavy fish stock, some really good growth on sort of softies and LPS and Euphilia, but never really got nutrients anywhere near low enough to even consider SPS corals. So basically moved home, had to sell and break the tank down due to moving to a new house and having to wait for a good period of time before I moved into it. Now I'm here and I've still got the bug, and the wife has nodded to say that we can have another reef tank. Now, I decided on the Red Sea Reefer 250 just due to the build quality. Love the open top, even though you can be conscious of a few jumpers every now and again. But I just love the tanks. I think they look really good. I've gone with a 250 because I don't want anything too dominating, and it'll fit in the kitchen nice. And yeah, so what I'll do now is run through my plan for the build and then a few of the products that I've bought so far. I just want to do a quick heads up to a couple of guys online that have done a couple of Red Sea Reefer series that have been really useful in my planning for this tank. Nathan Willard and Pelfrey. Pelfrey I think is US based, but Nathan Willard's definitely down in Suffolk somewhere. And his videos have been really useful. He's passed on so much really useful information, and I've also learned from a few of the things that he's done that he probably wishes he didn't, which I'm sure, no doubt, will happen with this build. So the mission: an SPS dominated Red Sea Reefer 250. I've done a really poor drawing, but it will help me describe exactly what equipment's going to go in the tank. So I want ultra low nutrient. I want to automate literally as much as I can. The only thing that I'll stop short of is buying an Apex controller at the moment, just due to the cost and the fact that I haven't actually got any SPS in the tank, and it'll probably be more likely that'll be 5 or 6 months away. So ultra low nutrient. I also have decided to go non-live rock route. Now, I've done this for a number of reasons. Firstly, because in my last tank, although I found it fascinating, it brought in loads and loads of problems with worms and Asternia starfish and all sorts of things that eventually just became a real pain. Tons of Aptasia, which I had to use Aptasia X on, and all them things. No doubt they can still come in if I'm not careful with the new build. I just didn't want to start from a place of feeling like I'm behind, especially in an ultra low nutrient tank, which I'm going to have some really strong lighting and flow on. So I've decided to go with an Aqua Roach route, which I'm going to go and buy in a bit, and I'll do a video on. And perhaps also some real reef rock, which is obviously not real. So ceramic media, basically, back to when it started on the goldfish bowl. And with that, I can mature it with fluidized bacteria I can control what goes in the tank, and the only thing I've got to worry about then is when I'm introducing livestock. So whatever the dipping process or treatment process is for them, I'll follow and try to really do the best I can to make sure I don't bring any nasties into the tank. So the main bits of equipment, in my previous tank, I went all out Ecotech. I was never let down by this equipment. I absolutely love it. I had XR30s and MP40 pumps all over the last tank, and they were great. So I've decided to go with the same again. So Ecotech 2 Radion XR15s on RMS tank mounts for lighting, which will cover the whole tank lovely. A couple of Vortec MP10s, 2 smaller tank for MP40s I feel, and the side glass is 10mm, so it works for MP10s. I think they'll deliver loads of flow in the top end of the tank, which the SPS will all probably be based around here. Vectra L1 return pump. It's good for up to 4,000 or 5,000 litres, I believe, and I only need sort of 2,500, 3 for this tank, so that would work well. I've got a V3 Sump, and I've done a picture of that, so I'll show you how that's going to work out. But then on the side of this, I'm going to mount a dosing pump here. There's a gap here for electrics to go out and for like a chiller if you're in the US. Power sockets, Ecotech controllers, heat controller, because I'm going to put a couple of titanium heaters in on the heat controller. And then obviously Aqua Roach or something along them lines. So I'm going to go and buy that in a bit, and hopefully that will look cool. I'll try not to make it look too man-made because I want it to look natural, but if there's a way of limiting what I take from the wild, including rock, including the livestock, and I can get frags that have been UK based for a number of years, I'm going to try and do that as well. So try and limit my my footprint. So the sump setup. This is the new version 3 sump. Again, a really professional drawing knot. But the idea in the V3 is that the display tank water comes to the side here, into this return pot. It overflows through 2 filter socks. So I'm going to put 2 of the 225 micron filter socks, change them out every few days. Then it bubbles over into here. Now this section can be split on the new V3 sump, so there's some baffles here that you can create a refugium in the front. I don't really want to do that because I find them messy, and although I'm interested in Cheeto and all the rest of it, I don't really want to mess the sump up. I want it to be nice and clean and tidy. And if honest, if I was going to move down the Cheeto route, I'd probably try an ALR unit rather than an open refugium. That said, I might change my mind in a few months and change the whole thing, but this is the way I'm going to do it. So I'm going to have a 3-stage process in this big chamber. The first stage it will hit will be a Bubble Magus Mini 70 reactor with some respec carbon to clean the water. We'll then hit the D&D fluidized media reactor with some Roaphos to take the phosphate out. And then we'll also hit the new Red Sea Skimmer 300, which is a bit of kit I'm really excited about using. I think that'll be the way that you can drain the skimmer cup contents off, and the way that you can clean it and clean the head by using an internal scraper will just make skimmer life easier, I'm hoping. So in here as well, I'll put the 200 watt titanium heaters with controllers. Now the controller unit will be able to notice if one goes down. So I'm going to aim for 26 degrees and hope that works. Then there's a bubble trap to stop bubbles going over into the final return column, which I'm not too keen on because I think they get dirty. So if I can take that out and not have that, I'll do that if there's no air going back up to the main return, but we'll see. That will go into here and go up through the Vectra back to the display. On top of this, there'll be a auto top-up float valve and then a tank that sits on top for the auto top-up water. I believe the version 3, they're a bit bigger as well, so that'll be good because it'll be less top-ups needed each week. Suppliers, everything you see in front of you there, barring the RO system, is from Oasis in Manchester. I live in the northwest. That's a really great shop. I shop anywhere, but to be honest, I'll spread my money everywhere. I've ordered the main parts off of Complete Aquatics online because you get a number of loyalty points which will be worth £60. So that would go great because you'll always spend that on more equipment. The reverse osmosis system is from osmotics.co.uk. You're a great company. I've used these systems before, and I'll pop a video on after this one about it. It's a UK-based company whose primary objective is water quality, so they're really, really good. And if you've got any issues, they'll just take returns, they'll speak to you, they'll help you out, and they'll send you replacements. That said, the systems have been good. For a dosing unit, first time into dosing, I've gone with the Kamara X4. Again, I can automate this, everything can be done by the app, so that I'm really excited about. Going to be dosing no pox probably initially anyway, so I'll be able to get that running pretty quickly, and I'll show you some more on that. So the next plan is to go and get the aqua roach and the media that I'm going to put in. So I'm going to go and get that, and I'll do another video. In the meantime, like, subscribe, comment, ask questions, all of them things, and I really look forward to sharing this tank build with you. I'll show you the area it's going in just quickly. In the kitchen, right in the middle of the room, will be here next to the bin, and that will basically, has a couple of sockets already. It's not too close to the windows, which can be shut during the day with the shutters, and yeah, can't wait for this. Catch you soon.